The 5 conductors that have really changed my life are Carlos Kleiber. I know him only from recordings, obviously, and from reading about him and watching documentaries about him. He was the one with the most expressive and impressive conducting technique, like the way just the gestures and movement was so beautiful, but at the same so efficient. But for me, what was most touching about knowing about him was how much he cared and how incredibly sensitive he was. He was really not this type of tyrannic maestro. And there's one anecdote about him where he was rehearsing with the Vienna Philharmonic and the second movement of Beethoven's Fourth Symphony, and the second violin started tum, ti, tim, ti, tim, ti, this kind of rhythm. They started, they played it, and he said, "You are playing as if you were saying Marie, Marie," but what Beethoven was thinking about was Thérèse, Thérèse, because he was in love with a Thérèse. And then one of the second violinists laughed at it. And that was the moment when basically Kleiber stormed out of the rehearsal, cancelled the concert, and just didn't come back because it hurt him so much. He cared so much for the music that he opened up to the musicians and couldn't take sort of the reaction. So knowing that as a conductor you can be that vulnerable and can be that involved was really important for me. Second conductor that has inspired me very much was Claudio Abbado, and his way of working with orchestras, of always having the idea of chamber music as something to strive for when working with a bigger ensemble. And that means that in chamber music each musician is equally important and gives equal amount of input and is equally involved. And this is always what Claudio Abbado was trying to do. It wasn't just his idea and telling everyone what to do, but was looking for potential in the ensemble already. Third conductor was Nicolas Arnoncourt. I had a chance to work with him. I was singing in choirs with him. And from him I learned how important it is to not only know the score, but also know the context, the biography of the composer, the historical context, how important rehearsals are, and how not necessarily always you really must know what you're doing with your hands. It was quite difficult to sing with him because his technique was very confusing, but the rehearsals were so good and his intentions were so clear that we were just doing everything to be together and to fulfill his vision. Fourth conductor was one of my teachers in Vienna, Yuji Uehasa. Very strict teacher, of course, but I learned 2 important things from him, which I think are absolute basis for conductors to work. One is pulse, because that's basic. And second thing that I learned from him was the importance of harmony, and how basically by analyzing, listening to and feeling the harmonic build-ups and resolutions in music, you can make incredibly convincing interpretations and find just the right tempo, just the right rubato, just the right directions. Last but not least, the fifth conductor that changed my life is Marin Alsop. I have a chance of being in touch with her, of learning from her, and from her I learned about the backstage, everything that happens off podium, how to talk to people, how to care about relationships with people, how to organize your work, be professional, ethical, how conducting is not only showing up, doing a rehearsal and a great concert, but it's also taking responsibility for the community in which you are working, thinking how music can influence lives around, not only in the concert hall, but outside of it. And I'm really, really lucky that I get to learn from her about these things.